State on Saturday at 6:30 Central on SEC Network. To ask a question for Coach Saban, please press 10 on your telephone's keypad now. And, Coach, while we wait on these questions, if you could take a moment to comment on your team as they enter Saturday's season opener.
Well, I think players, coaches, everybody looks forward to the opening game of the season. It's what you work for, all year long. The preparation has been good. Fall camp has been good. We're playing a good Utah State team that won 11 games last year and ended up in the top 25. So there is a challenge there for us, and we're looking forward to finding out exactly where our team is.
All right, we'll start off with Mike Rodak of AL.com.
With some of the changes to the transfer rules the last couple of years, how has that changed how much you scout teams that aren't on your schedule relative to who might become available, in the portal at the end of the year?
Well, that's not something we're concerned about, right now. I think when the end of the year comes, we kind of assess our team and, start, doing a little bit of an idea of how we would evaluate players that have decided to get into the portal. But, we don't scout teams to find out who might get in the portal. And I think there's a lot of wasted time involved in that. I think when guys get in, you start evaluating them, and that's how we've done it in the past.
Next we'll go to Wilson Alexander, the Advocate.
Brian Kelly said he talked to you before and after making the move to LSU. What advice did you have for him about that job?
Well, it's a good job. A lot of passionate fans there. People in Louisiana are great people. I think that, they got a great opportunity. They got a great history. They got a great tradition. And I told him that I thought he would do an outstanding job there, and it's certainly going to be, challenging for us playing against, they've always got good personnel, and now they got a really good coach. So, not that they've not had great coaches in the past, but just a real, challenging situation for us, but I'm sure he'll do a great job there.
Thank you.
Next is Scotty Bordelon of Whole Hog Sports.
Hey, Nick, I had a question for you about Drew Sanders. When you guys were recruiting him in high school, what stood out about him? And last year, what do you remember about him stepping in for you early on?
Yeah, he's a fine young man, really good football player, played, extremely well for us last year, had an unfortunate injury that, held him back, and he would have probably been a starter here this year, and I'm sure he's probably going to do really well, where he is there at Arkansas. He's a great competitor, he's a good person, so I can't say enough good things about him.
Next up is Mason Smith of Bama Central.
Hey, Coach, we have Kobe Prentice and Jaheim Otis and Terry Arnold all preparing to make their first starts this weekend at Utah State. What did you see from those guys throughout the camp and even going back towards the spring?
Well, they've all played well and made really good progress, and, it's going to be interesting to see how, they all react, when the fur flies and they go out there in real competition, if they can stay focused, play in and play out to do, the job the way we think they're capable of doing it. So, but I think, in opening games, you find out a lot about your team and you find out a lot about the individual players and especially young players. So we got a lot of confidence in these guys, but, it'll be a great test for them.
Next we'll go to Steve Moulton of WZZN.
Coach, hope you're doing well this morning.
Yep.
In terms of growth, what have you seen out of Bryce Young's development from last year to this year for you, Coach?
Well, Bryce played great last year. I mean, the guy won the Heisman Trophy, but I think the most important thing that I've seen is none of what he did last year has affected the way he's tried to prepare and improve and do the things that he needs to do to be effective this year with the team we have this year in terms of his leadership, the things he does day in and day out to try to be the best player he can be. So, I can't ask more of the guy. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and he's done it in a very positive, first-class way. So hopefully he'll, be fortunate enough to stay healthy and have a great year this year.
And coming out of fall camp, your cornerbacks in particular, how would you evaluate their fall that they had for you this year, Coach?
Well, everybody's made significant progress and made really good improvement. And, some of the guys have been in and out of the lineup a little bit due to injury, and I think that's affected their progress to some degree. But we're anxious to see how they all play in the first game.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, we'll wrap you up with Steve Smith of Touchdown Alabama.
Coach, just looking at the defensive line, particular Tim Smith and Jamil Burrows, what did they show you in spring and in fall camp in terms of consistency that they're ready to be impactful this year?
Well, Tim Smith has done a really, really good job. He's had a really good fall camp. He's played really, really well. Jamil Burrows had a great spring, and I think both guys have to show that they can go out there and compete and be consistent in doing their job, not make mental errors, be disciplined in the way they play up front, whether it's gap control or whatever it is. But, we think both guys can make a significant contribution. But it's like all players, especially those that don't have a lot of experience. It's interesting to see how they respond when they get in a competitive situation.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.